class. So I want to cover what we did when covering the comparative outline. All right. So to make things easier, I want y'all to go ahead and try to find your topic sentence. So the project we're doing is Egypt versus Mesopotamia. All right. So some topics to talk about. Just think of things like this. So maybe social structure, government, and geography. So now that we got our ideas, now I want y'all to go ahead and divide each of these into its own paragraph. Those are your three main ideas right here. Um, so I want y'all to first look up sources relating to the main idea. But remember, we're looking at Egypt and Mesopotamia. Okay, so we're going to look for sources separately for Egypt and Mesopotamia. So maybe so let's go to Google. Um, okay. So like right here, for example, I already went ahead and provided some reliable sources. So like I got Britannica, Khan Academy, Ducksters, Time Maps, National Geographic, ThoughtCo. So all of those are good research websites. So let's go ahead and use Time Maps. Excuse me. So I'm looking for maybe like social class since that's the first thing. So like right here, social classes. So most of the population in ancient Mesopotamia were farmers working small plots of land. Above them stood a small, elite group of ruling classes like kings, courtiers, officials, priests, and soldiers. And then also merchants and craftsmen held high position in society. So all right. So we got all this. And if you don't feel like reading at the moment and you're just looking for sources to read later, you could go ahead and just copy all this. Because remember, this is just an outline. An outline, so what do you think an outline is? An outline is basically something kind of like a pre-essay. Something that you're trying to brainstorm before you're writing. That's what an outline is. So now that I got that, be sure to provide the URL. Because remember, when we do the essay, then I am going to expect it to be in MLA format. So it's good to just have all those links ready. All right. And we're not going to worry about supporting sentences just yet. So now that I got sources for that, I want to get sources for the Egypt part. So let's look for social classes in Egypt. Pharaoh. Let's find the one where they were talking about different classes. So like the Pharaoh, talking about how they were worshipped like gods. So right here would be a good thing to talk about right here. So like what peasants we have to do, craftsmen and artists. This will be perfect for social class right here. So we could just talk about this. Control C. So it looks like I already had this portion. And we can read that later. And this is not supporting sentences, by the way. I meant to do this under source. Alright. I'm just going to copy this because we'll do this later. And then I'm going to go ahead and provide my source. Alright, so now that's what I'm going to expect y'all to read is what you feel was important. Alright. So I would read this and try to think of what makes this either similar or different compared to this. Alright. So like for example, I noticed if I was making a case for, some type of similarity, I could talk about how they had slavery. But they were also saying it wasn't just war captives, it was also people who fell in debt. While they said the slaves here, where was it? That they were captured. I saw it somewhere. There it was. We'll see that. However, poverty or debt forced some Egyptians to sell themselves into service. So see, it was pretty similar. So Mesopotamia and Egypt were very similar as in slavery. So even when you're talking about social class, you could even be more specific and talk about slavery instead. So those are examples. So like in your supporting sentence, you could describe that like slavery was also pretty common in Egypt, just as in Mesopotamia. But remember, when you are making these comparisons, you also are going to have to make a thesis and be sure that your thesis, your underlying argument, relates to the paragraphs, all these paragraphs. But I highly recommend, if you're working with partners, I highly recommend y'all to divide this up so it won't be so complicated. So remember, y'all have to, for students, y'all have to be sure to share it. So like maybe I want to share it to Miss Williams and have her as the editor, and then or Mr. C. So those are examples right there. But also remember, when you do share, after you do share it, I need you to copy the link and make an email as well. So remember, to make an email, You have to press this little pen thing right here. And then you type in the names for the people you want to share it with. And when done, be sure to send your email by hitting send.